Are you excited but nervous at the same time about investing in real estate? Are you confused about where to get started? Do you feel uncertain about your ability to invest in real estate because of finances, the market conditions, or not knowing enough? Hi, my name is Monica Sawyer, and I'm the host of the Real Estate Investing for Women podcast. I work with professional women on how to get started in real estate investing or grow their current portfolios. In this podcast, I will share my own strategies as well as those of many amazing experts so that you too can build wealth the blissful way. That means building wealth on your own terms, part-time, with very little stress. To get started, download your free report on my personal favorite strategy at blissfulinvestor.com. Hi there. Welcome to the Real Estate Investing for Women podcast, where we focus on all aspects of real estate investing, including strategies, mindset, emotional mastery, money smarts, and so much more to ensure your success. Today, I am so excited to share with you my friend and guest, Dennis Langley. Dennis was born and raised in New England, and he moved to California at the age of 18 to pursue a career in BMX freestyle, where he was lucky enough to travel the world while competing at the highest levels in the BMX stunt world. With this sport, he got a crash course in discipline, hard work, and the ability to tap into the mindset of peak performance. Later on, he turned his passion as a rider into a business doing BMX shows, and it became one of the most successful school assemblies of its kind nationwide. His company performed at an average of 700 schools a year, earning him a comfortable six-figure income doing something he loved. After years of inspirational speeches, he launched his own podcast, The 5-Minute Bark. He has featured over 265 guests, myself included, and has listeners tuned in from over 165 countries around the world. I invited Dennis to the show because of his incredible tenacity. As many of you know, I was a competitive dancer for over 10 years, and I too have performed around the world. I know that to be a highly skilled athlete, it requires a particular mindset, discipline, and the ability to be flexible and change directions in an instant. Dennis has managed to take these skills and use them to create a successful life in every area of his life. And on top of all that, Dennis is an amazing human being with a huge heart and a true desire to be of service in the world. He is such an inspiration to me, and I wanted him to share with you his perspective on staying tenacious to create success and build wealth. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Why, thank you. Wow, that's quite a build-up. I kind of already feel like Superman kind of already before we even started the show. I love it.
You are.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, I just want to start with you telling my audience your absolutely amazing real estate story.
All right. So, I as a business owner, I had growing pains with my business. I was growing and building offices and getting them structured around San Diego here. And I realized that I'm spending so much money on paying rent to an office, especially here in La Jolla, that I could probably just buy a house and convert my garage into a bigger office than I was actually paying for. So I kind of pursued it. And at the time, being an entrepreneur, I had to get creative. I had to get very, very creative. But I knew it was a great investment. And, everybody's telling me, Dennis, you're kind of crazy buying a house right now. It's at the peak. You know that story. It's at the peak.
I do know that story.
Yeah. It's in 1998. And we were just coming off like in 1994, 95. We're kind of coming up from the 90s crash. And I bought this condo for a whopping $246,000, and it's in La Jolla, California. And it was under kind of like a situation where the HOA was suing the builder, and the place was kind of a mess, but it had you know, if you've seen my place, it's absolutely beautiful. I've got waterfalls in my backyard, and there's a beautiful stream that kind of goes throughout the entire complex. It's really set up beautifully, and there's only 52 units. So I looked all around San Diego and I found this place and I bought it. And I knew nothing about buying real estate at the time. And a friend of mine was, he just had bought a place and he's like, just put an offer in, and I'm like, okay, I'll just put an offer in. He said they were looking for 265. And he just said, lowball them at 246 and we'll see what happens. And so I just kind of filled all this paperwork out, not really paying attention to it. And all of a sudden my real estate agent comes back to me and says, they accepted your offer. And I was like, completely shocked. I didn't expect it at all. And by the way, I gave him a check for $2,000 as a good goodwill thing, and I didn't even have $2,000 in the bank.
Oh my God!
So I had to whip and muster some business. I had clients that owed me money and so on and so forth, but I eventually pulled that off. Got to $2,000, and it's okay. You have to come up with $36,000 to close in 45 days. So literally, I had put miracle after miracle after miracle together to make a long story short. And even through the whole time, the buyer and the real estate agent was like, this guy really can't afford this thing. So they're like, well, we don't trust you, so we want you to put $10,000 down. So like halfway through, I had to come in with $10,000 more. And I pulled that off. And come closing time, I literally had to drive 2.5 hours to pick up my last check from a client that booked a huge contract with me, grab that check, get it in my bank for escrow to close to get my property. Meanwhile, all this is happening. I had somebody that shared with me, I can give you 7.5% interest. And that was really low at the time. That's kind of like the 4% of now, right? And I'm like, okay, great. And then he disappeared. So I ended up with this home at 10.5% interest and somehow pulling it off and getting my keys and walking in the door to a home in La Jolla, California. So as some of you may listening here today, La Jolla, California is obviously one of the nicest places to live in the country, and if not the world. The weather is perfect. Where I live is literally going against traffic in many different ways. So I'm very special and lucky to have what I have here today. But it was, the bottom line is taking a shot at transferring where I'm sending my money, sending it from rent to ownership. And how that investment worked out, well, we all know. La Jolla is one of the most expensive real estates, and this is now 20 years later, and it's literally tripled or quadrupled in price since then. So that was a great investment. That was my first real estate investment.
Wow. And to me, what really amazes me is, because I would never do this, Dennis, is write a $2,000 check without $2,000 in the bank. Like, oh my God. And then having to come up with $10,000 kind of out of the air. Really? So, and this is part of what I mean by you're really tenacious, right? You'll do the thing that has to be done for your future and to make things happen. And that's really what I want you to share with everybody is, how do you do that? What is it that keeps you, what is it, inspired, gutsy? What is it? Tell me.
Monica, I have so many stories like that. I wasn't fortunate to have money supplies around me. I had to get really creative in different ways to do different things. And I can sneak in another story that's even going to show you that if you are a person out there that doesn't necessarily have the amount of money, or you're just really wanting to, that you should be going the path of real estate, or knowing you should be in the path of doing your business. This is one story that my friends bring up all the time. Having that BMX freestyle company, we had booked a tour of our team to go to Hawaii. And the only resource I had to get my team out there to be able to do the shows was a Chevron gas card.
Oh dear.
Okay. And it gives me chills to talk about this. And at the time, this is really bad, but at the time, you could go to a bank and deposit a check, and you could pull out the cash, and then you could run across the street and pull out some more cash. So by the time because the check would take a certain amount of time to cash, so you could kind of double dip at the time. You can't do it now, probably because of me. But so we had this thing where we had to just kind of really get creative. Like these guys literally ate at a few days, because as soon as we got there, we were going to get paid and everything was going to be fine. But these guys had to eat at Chevron. So they were eating Pringles, they were eating Juji fruits, sodas and Cokes and waters for the first few days.
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding at all. So luckily there was a Chevron in Hawaii for that sake. And so yeah, but it takes just never giving up. Make sure you are persistent in what you're doing to get there. Of course, you don't want to be breaking the law or anything like that. Using a Chevron card is not breaking a law, but you gotta find your resources around you to get things creative. And if you just have that faith, and I talk about this all the time, the supernatural faith that you can look toward, that's beyond every day. So become a professional bike rider, becoming a business owner, becoming a podcaster. I just had to put my chin up a little bit higher and just put my lips above the water and just keep breathing when everything was crashing down on me. So
one of the amazing things that you have said to me many, many times in our conversations is I'll say, yeah, I'm going to be a podcaster. And you'll say, Monica, words count. You're going to be a podcaster is just, you're going to be a podcaster. You are going to be a podcaster is very different than you're going to be a podcaster, or I am is very different than I'm. And I love the way that you have presented that to me. It's completely changed my life. I'd love for you to share that with the audience.
I just got chills when you said that. Literally, I'm getting chills because it's such an important thing that I learned. And I learned this from my coach. I had this very militant style person I was working with. Again, I put my nose in the air and prayed, so to speak, for this certain type of person to come into my life and share with him. But one of the things he called is definitive, strong language, using clear to the point language. If you're going to say, hey, Dennis, would you like to come up to Northern California and hang out? You don't give a maybe. You say yes or a no. Strong, definitive language. And when you start speaking to yourself and the people around you in that language, then you start seeing the belief patterns of people change. You start seeing things literally come into play in a more clarified way. So when we're speaking to ourselves, when I say, I am going to come on this podcast, I've told myself, right? If you're listening right now and you say, I am going to do something, what is there something right now that's in your life that you're on the fence and like, you just can't say I am to, and all of a sudden you say, I am, say it right now. And you realize it scares you because you just committed. I'm going to do it. That's not committing, right? If we say it, right? And you've experienced it when we've done some work together, like I am going to do, oh shoot, I just really said that I'm going to do that. Right?
It's really scary. Yeah, because it's a decision and a commitment.
Yeah.
And I'm not a person that's afraid of decisions and commitment at all, right?
Yeah.
But even for me, just changing from I'm to I am is huge.
It's huge. I mean, to me, even knowing that, like, I know what that means. Saying it's like, I have to do this, right? I have to do this. So when you start speaking that language in the work that you're going to do, I am going to do this work that I have in front of me today. All right. And you don't do it. It really, really like chips at your momentum, chips at your confidence, chips at everything that's going on around you. And you'll start feeling where you're at, why you're not successful, right? Why am I not successful? Because I'm not using I am. I'm not using this strong, definitive language.
Right. Well, the other thing that I found in sort of changing the languaging that way is when I say I am going to do such and such, and then I don't do it. For me, there's a couple of things that happen. First of all, I feel bad about it, which is okay. We don't need to be blissful, joyful, happy all the time. Feeling bad is a message, and we can use that. But the other piece about that is that it really makes me examine, why did I not do it? So am I truly committed to it? And if I am, why did I not succeed? Or is it really not a priority and I'm trying to make it a priority? And if that's the case, let it go and move on to something that is more important to me. So I've seen it show up in all different ways in my life, from letting it go to taking more massive action.
It answers a question, doesn't it?
It does, one way or the other.
I mean, how many people out there listening right now, you've got a text from a friend and said, say you're going to meet, hey, would you like to meet for a dinner? Yeah, I maybe can do that. What does that make you feel like?
Like, say yes or no. I can't
Right.
take a maybe right now.
Right. I can't, like, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we've got plans. Maybe I'm going to get stood up. Maybe I don't matter to you.
Or maybe I should delete this text.
I wasn't going to say that, but absolutely.
Right.
Or how would you feel if I said maybe when you invited me out?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's maybe talk about some things on your show. Let's maybe do something. No, let's dive in. Let's give these listeners something that they can walk away from here today that's going to transfer a maybe to a I am, right? What can we do today in our path to learning how to increase our wealth with real estate, get the guts to take that leap, right? Because there's that big leap we're trying to take to invest in homes. And we know, I know 20 years in, I've got a place not only in La Jolla, but it's worth something. When I want to retire, I just sell the thing and I move to Arizona. I can buy 2 houses for the price of one, So there's so much that goes on with just taking, I guess, what I've learned from being a podcaster, from being a professional athlete, all these things that the I am works for everybody. It works for real estate people. It works for BMX bike riders. It works for podcasters. It works for business owners. It really is a different thing. And you can really listen to the people around you and how they react. And you can start feeling the vibe in you, like, okay, well, I want to go down the path with this person, but I can see that it maybe won't work. Right? Or it will work. Right. So,
right. And it's really interesting because the way that you have approached this with me is very different than what I've seen out there. So I know that there was a book released on this same topic. And so it became really popular for people to say, I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am thin. I am blah, 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 right?
Yep.
And the thing is that so much of the time, so I tried it and it didn't work.
Well, just how you said it right there doesn't mean it wasn't I am. It was I am.
And that was the thing that I was going to say, is that it's popular and also not the true message. I think that people miss what I am is supposed to be. I am is not an opportunity for you to lie to yourself. So I am thin. As wonderful as that sounds, and as much as we think that should work to help you lose weight, it's still a lie to yourself. I am healthy might be more true, more believable. So when you say I am, it needs to be a level of believable. It needs to be a commitment, not a fake out, right? I am rich when you're feeling broke is not going to work. You're not going to feel the power of it. I am moving towards my financial freedom is more believable than I am rich in that situation. So it's the way that you use it. So there's 2 things in here, right? There's I am rich or I am rich. So there's power in one, there's a slur in the other. So it's the way that we're saying it, right? But it's also, what is it that we're saying? What commitments, decisions are we making? What action are we wanting to do? Right? How much are we trying to get off the fence on something? So I am is really, really powerful. And I feel like it's been diluted because of the way that it's been presented in the world. And so the very first time that you talked to me about it, Dennis, I was like, oh my God, there it is. That's what it meant. And it's so powerful if you can use it in the right way for yourself, to empower yourself rather than to disempower yourself.
Right. Let me add to what you were kind of explaining earlier there. There's the word yet. Okay. I am going to be the best professional freestyle bike rider in the world, but I am not yet. That was the word that I was taught. So if you're not there yet, use yet. because that's still positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like you said, there's this mantra of saying things to yourself, and that can work. You know, if you believe in it strong enough, but when you believing it strong enough, you're saying it with I am, not I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the just saying it and then meaning it. So breathing into it, listening to what you just said is just all the difference, right?
And really feeling it.
Yeah.
Like, I am thin will never resonate with me
Right.
anymore. You know, it's also not a priority for me anymore, right? Healthy is a priority. So, so how is it that you're feeling when you say it? I am going to be rich, may be scary, but does it feel like a lie? If it feels like a lie, then you change it. If it's scary, you kind of lean into it, man. And you see, how can that improve my life, right? So, and you know, fear, I was having a conversation with another friend. Fear is a good thing. It keeps us alive. So if you're feeling fear, lean into it and find out, is it fear that's going to keep you alive, or is it fear that's holding you back, right?
Yeah.
But this whole concept of I am can be such a powerful indicator of what's your highest priority. What is it that you want most deeply? And what is it that you're willing to commit to now?
Definitely. You know, that you can take this once you understand, listeners, I'm speaking to you, of course. When you understand how to say I am, and you can feel it in your body, like, oh God, I just said that. And then you can start translating that into other phrases and words that you use throughout your language when you speak to people. My coach literally spent hours working with me saying, he literally followed me around with a clipboard for hours on end, and he would hear how I would say things and different things. So we would reprogram all those things and how I said them. I can share if you want with your audience. It's got a lot of personal stuff on it, but I don't care. But it was transforming what I said into strong and definitive language that worked for me, not toward me, right?
Oh, give us
So
an example of that.
yeah, so let me pull up one here for you, an example. If you can give me a second, you can talk while I'm doing this. So go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things, Dennis has said this, I've said this, so many people are out there saying this, but just listeners, take a moment and just hear me. Our words are important. And I know that sounds so simple. And we brush over it. And we say, yeah, but this is what I'm really thinking. This is what I'm really feeling. But words are important. And you can say what you're really thinking and what you're really feeling with words that are empowering rather than disempowering. So just examine, what is it that you say? Like, you know, I did this the other day. I was talking to a friend and I haven't been keeping in touch. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm just so lame at keeping in touch with people. And he was like, Monica, you are not lame. You're busy. And all of us are really appreciative of what you're out there doing. And we'll find time together. But calling myself lame was certainly not empowering, right? I didn't feel great about the fact that I haven't kept in touch, but it doesn't mean that I'm lame, right? So the words that we use, and I'm constantly having to be reminded of this myself, right? Because we just roll right over it. We've heard it so much, we don't take it to heart. So hear me, your words count.
Yes. So I found this list, and I wanted to find the one that so everything on this list is literally probably 150. I'm not going to say them obviously on your show here today, but they're literally transformations of how I said certain things throughout the day. So I'm just going to read some of them here just randomly, and a lot of them do start with, so I am motivated, right? I am streamlined. I have energy. So you can hear how I'm saying them, because I say them a lot now. That when I now say them in public, I'm saying, I remember, oh yeah, I got to say it like this. It just automatically just comes out now. And so I am I am in an uplifting environment. That's really one of the hardest ones to say for me. I am in an uplifting environment, right? I'm going to go find some. I have turned things around. You know, you can see how that one was coming from somewhere, right? Like you're in that bad day mode. I've turned things around. How many times in your life, listeners, have you turned things around? I have turned things around. Say that to yourself right now. I've made a comeback. How many times have you made a comeback for? I have made a comeback, right? Big, huge.
So let me just stop you there. instead of I have made a comeback or I am turning things around, how many times have we said, yeah, things will get better? Right? What's the alternative to those that we normally say, right? Things will get better. Tomorrow's another day. Yeah, someone's got to be looking out for me. My boss is going to give me a raise, right? Whatever it is, right? Instead of I am powerful. I have turned things around.
Yeah. Here's one that literally when he brought this one out, and I'm going to modify it for the show here, but this one, for me, coming from the East Coast, we use lots of language that's inappropriate.
I asked him to not do that on the show.
So, but this one to me, like I feel, I'm going to say it without saying it, but I am beep fired up. So, I mean, when I say that, like I'm fired up, right? And it cause we, as a professional athlete, riding till 2 a.m. or training till 1 a.m. or training at 6 a.m., we had to get fired up. So that's a very sportsy type one. I am fired up with that extra word in there. I am a leader. All right. Saying I am a leader, what a representation that is, right? That's huge, right? This is one that changed. Why I'm here today on this microphone changed because of this one. I am a leader. I am a great listener. I am a great listener. If you worked for me several years ago and you worked in my office with all these people running around, the number one thing that was told of Dennis is he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to me. So what a transformation that has. What a transformation this podcast has done for me to be able to listen. I mumbled. All right. I'm speaking clearly now for the most part. Like I even get compliments. Hey, you really are speaking very clearly. Wow. What a change.
And what's really interesting is that, so these sound like affirmations, right? If you're listening in, everybody, like, oh, those are just great affirmations. It's not. It's different. When you use the language with power, it evokes an emotional reaction inside of you. You can feel it physically and emotionally and mentally, and that will reinforce it. But again, it's I am powerful or I am powerful. Like there is a difference in how you feel in the way that you're saying it. So we're not just talking about cool affirmations, right? Yeah. We're talking about a way of speaking to yourself that empowers you.
Here's the example he used. And by the way, the person's name is Wayne Myers, who did this, and he's an amazing person. So he would have me speak in different, I call it tongues, I guess. I don't know. So, well, here's a great example, right? There's king's command voice, like a king. And you know how you watch movies, you see how a king speaks, I am the leader. I am the king of the universe. I am the king of this, whatever, right? He speaks with that language. And then the ones below him speak at a different, I forgot the words of who that the hierarchy is, but he mentioned it, and they speak with different tones. And you're like, you know what? That's totally right. They do. So he had me go and speak at those different tones. And you could feel when you're speaking at that tone, right? How that all transforms into your clear, definitive language.
That's awesome. Dennis, thank you so much. We're almost out of time. I hate that. But before we move into our 3 rapid fire questions, could you tell everybody how they can get in touch with you?
Yes. I have a podcast as well, and it's called the 5 Minute Bark Podcast. And it's out there on the web everywhere. If you type in 5 Minute Bark on YouTube, Facebook, on the web, 5minutebark.com. That's FIVE, 5 Minute Bark. And you can find me out there that way at either one of those things. On Facebook, my name is Dennis Langlais. That's LANGLAIS. I would be happy to share my affirmation. I guess not affirmations, right? They're reprogrammings of what I had to go through that worked for me really well, that helped me move forward in becoming a clearer speaker, becoming a leader, becoming a listener, okay, becoming a podcast host, and obviously my road to wealth and finance and real estate. It's really exciting, thanks to the great advice I'm getting also from Monica. So yes, I can share that as well.
Great. And do you have a free gift, or is that it?
Yeah, I would love to. If anybody wants to jump on a call for 20 minutes, my podcast is very similar to Monica's, where we get people come on and share valuable resources, but in mine's not particular to real estate, but it's just particular to your business. You're an entrepreneur and you're trying to grow your audience. You're trying to get your message out there in a clear way. While we do a lot of the exercises that Monica's already experienced, and we get you out there on video, and we create awesome influence for you.
Right. And, as an investor or a real estate agent or a mortgage agent, it's important to get out there and get your message. Like, you're still you're still competing. You're competing with other investors, you're competing with other agents. And Dennis is really good at helping you to get really, really clear on your message. So definitely get in touch with him. So Dennis, okay, here we go. Here are 3 rapid fire questions. Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Tell us one super tip on getting started in investing in real estate.
Number one, this is the best one you can do, is to contact Monica. She is so passionate in what she does. Like I said, I have a relationship beyond this podcast. I have a relationship beyond her on my podcast. We've been working together a lot now. And honestly, my first real estate agent was a gem. She was amazing. She just continually just didn't look at me as 100 houses I have to go see. She just was really, truly helping me find the place that I wanted. Same with Monica. She's truly passionate about helping you find ways to invest. She's created this podcast. She's got coaching. She's got different things. So I want to say that.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's true. It's the truth.
Thank you, Dennis. Nobody's actually said that.
Well, I'm the first in a lot of things, right?
Yeah, you are. Thank you. Okay, so tell us one strategy to being successful in real estate investing.
Patience. Obviously, patience in going into your deals. When you're going out there and you're looking at properties, and that urge to just jump can get ahead of the research. When you're out there trying to take on a property they're going to own for 5, 10, 20 years or flip, you got to do the numbers. You got to do the research and just catch yourself in that, sometimes the real gut is good, but the persuasive gut is not so good. So you can get yourself in a bind real quickly. Did you do the inspections? Did you find out the slab was cracked, or what kind of damage is there for termites and all these little things? And if you're buying something, is the neighborhood fit for, if you're going to do Airbnb? A lot of people are doing Airbnb. Is it fit for it? Is it going to really work? Is it going to hinder the neighbors? Do all that research, because just buying it and going, I'll figure that out later, is going to be buying it and figure out you get a headache later. Yeah. And that's why blissful investment exists, is because you think of those things before you go and do it, so that you can continually aim toward being more blissful.
Perfect. Okay. And then what is one daily practice that you would say contributes to your success, Dennis?
Getting up every morning and really realizing that all the entourage of stuff that comes at you, that startles you, depresses you, pushes you, can be dealt with, and then another day is coming. I just had a friend who just recently called me. Is like, everything was crashing down. Everything was crashing down. And today, nothing's crashing down. So knowing that when you're starting in real estate, starting in business, starting to just recreate yourself as a human being by maybe changing how you speak and using I am, things do crash down. The weather is going to be sunny today. It's going to be cloudy tomorrow. Why should your life be any different? A grass is a perfect example. Golfer. The grass is just perfect today, and tomorrow it's like totally different when I'm going to swing a club. It's totally different. So why should your life be any different? So just deal with things and just know that the next day it could be sunny, it could be cloudy, it could be rainy, but storms come for a couple days, but they go away.
And develop your blissful tools to get through them. Awesome. Dennis, this conversation has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with my audience.
I hope that they learned something really cool here today. Again, I'm excited that you are listening here today. I'm excited that you're tuning in to Monica. Now your tribe is obviously clearly growing, and it's really exciting. And people are reaching out to you, and that's an even great sign. There's so many podcasts out there with tons of people, but nobody's reaching out. And your people are engaged. And that's really cool.
I'm so proud of that. That's true. I'm really, really proud of my audience. They're action takers, and I love that.
Yeah.
So all of you listening in, thank you so much for joining Dennis and I today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next podcast. And until then, remember, goals without action are just dreams. So get out there, take action, and create the life your heart deeply desires. See you next time. Bye. Thank you again for joining me on the Real Estate Investing for Women podcast. If you love this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes. As women, we need to support and empower each other to build wealth and live joyful lives. Your support of this podcast by subscribing, rating, and reviewing it will help other women just like you learn about building blissful wealth through investing. And remember to download your free report so you can get started on your investing journey at blissfulinvestor.com. See you next time.